Bon, on est toujours sur Vampyr, hein. Donc là, la dernière fois, on a aidé un mec à retrouver son pote. Et puis maintenant, on doit trouver le maître chanteur de Lady Lashbury. On devrait- Ok, on est de retour sur les docks ici. Bon, c'était pas le bon chemin alors. On peut discuter avec lui là?
Are you sure you're all right, sir?
Yes. Yes, I'll be. As soon as I can see the sky again.
Ok, je peux le bouffer lui. On va attendre qu'il s'en sorte. D'ailleurs, il a combien? Ouais, il rapporte pas beaucoup d'XP lui. Il est où l'autre? Ah là. Ok. Ok.
What sort of creature is this?
Waouh! Allez, à moi de te mordre maintenant. Oui, crève. Voilà.
Here's what's left of him. Not a lot to check, but I should anyway.
Ok.
Some voucher for a free checkup in Whitechapel. What is Nurse Crane up to? I really must find her.
Ouais, c'est tout ce qu'il y a ici. Je peux pas aller là-haut vu qu'il y a du sang. Bon.
This is despicable.
Ouais, bon, ça va. Hein.
I have this thirst for blood.
Ok, il y a du sang par là. Putain, celui-là, il apparaît pas bizarre. Il faut que j'aille là-bas, moi. C'est pas là que je peux rentrer et sortir de ma chambre. Ouais. Hop. Ah, presque, mince. Allez. Un trait de pan contre l'ennemi. Voilà. Alors, il est où ce petit malin? Ouais, il est là.
Hey, Doc. You're lucky to be alive, Mr. Cox. I hope you're starting to take better care of yourself.
This place is full of sickness and decay. How could I get better in such a dump?
Consider yourself lucky that I'm treating all of my patients equally. But don't push your luck.
Don't play the innocent with me. I'm sure you have good reasons to act this way. And also weaknesses that can be exploited.
You're lucky to be alive, Mr.
Cool.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
Ok.
Hello again, Mr. Blight. I'm happy to see Mr. Thatcher is safe for now.
I'm eternally grateful, Doctor. We were total strangers and you helped us anyway.
Ouais, mais je suis gentil, moi.
Can't thank you enough, sir.
What caused your phobia of rats, Newton?
It happened last year following an artillery attack. I was trapped for 2 days in a hole under 2 dead soldiers. And there were rats.
Go on.
They started eating me as soon as I dozed. Gnawing at my ears, my fingers, lips. Couldn't move. Couldn't call for help.
I see.
No, you don't. You have no idea what it is to wake up buried under bodies. Fucking vermin eating your flesh. Oswald. He found me and saved me.
Why do you stay here now that Mr. Thatcher's back?
It's complicated. Since the war, Oswald's been really nervous with the idea of entering any hospital. And me, I've got my own issues.
Can you speak about them?
Rats, sir. Even seeing one, they turn me. Just want to run. It's that fear that stopped me from going after Oswald.
Mais ça, tu m'as déjà expliqué, mon ami.
What can you tell me about the war, Mr. Blight? If you want to speak about it, of course.
War was... Well, you know, sir. The stench of death everywhere. Your mates lying bleeding in the mud. Just praying to make it through and get home. Bloody nightmare.
Did you know Oswald Thatcher before the war?
No. We met in the battlefield. I think we were in the same boat to France. We've stuck together ever since.
I fought in France, too. I served as a field surgeon, but it was not uncommon to repel an assault, especially at night.
Yeah. The first time I was wounded, I had to protect the infirmary from hostiles. Twice.
You are always welcome at the Pembroke Hospital. As a former officer, I'll be honored to welcome a fellow veteran.
I'm not giving up on bringing Oswald back to the hospital. I just need to convince him that he needs some help.
Perhaps he needs to reach that decision by himself.
Could you speak to him? He doesn't usually listen to doctors, but perhaps because you've been through it, you can talk him round.
Goodbye, Mr. Blight. Take care of yourself.
Ah, il est là, Oswald. Peut-être que je peux parler avec lui.
Hello again, Mr. Thatcher. Do you feel any better now?
Yes, this neighborhood may stink of dog shit and reek of piss, but to me it smells like the purest mountain air.
Do you want to talk about why you have this fear of being enclosed, Mr. Thatcher?
No, I really don't.
An irrational fear like yours is usually rooted in a specific event. Perhaps it would help to talk about it.
Well, Doctor, take a guess then, if you're so interested in my case.
As a soldier, you're expected to kill the enemy to survive. Guilt is a powerful emotion and could lead to feelings of suffocation and oppression.
My God, you're so wrong. Believe me, I would kill if it happened again. Violence is part of who I am.
J'ai perdu 2 indices.
Do you have a job?
No. Since I came back from the war, I spent most of my time and energy just trying to forget.
I understand what you mean. I was a soldier too.
No. Nobody can truly understand what I've gone through.
Why were you locked in that sewer? What happened?
I went by the canal after an argument with a friend. Got chased by these fucking wankers and had to barricade myself in, despite my claustrophobia.
Why did you run? What was the reason for your argument?
Newton wanted me to go to a hospital. I can't stand being closed in. It makes me feel like I'm suffocating.
Tell me about your claustrophobia. Has anyone given you an official diagnosis?
That's what the bloody doctor said. But I don't want to go to a hospital to get checked again. I'll deal with it my own way.
Oswald, why did you not go to the Pembroke Hospital to seek medical help?
I don't trust doctors. All they care about was their careers and processes. I won't be locked in any room again by anyone.
Your fear of being trapped is not going to go away by itself. You need professional help.
I've seen enough butchers in white coats to last a lifetime. Hospitals reek of chemicals and death. What I need is fresh air.
Goodbye, Mr. Thatcher. Try to take care of yourself.
Ça me marque quoi si je veux le voir lui? Ok. Ah, il y a tout ça qui peut changer. Bon. Tiens, il est de retour là, lui.
Turn around, sir. Not a good place for a stroll.
Ok, ils sont level 13 et moi je dois aller tout là-bas. J'ai pas d'autres missions à faire là-bas, genre ça? C'est bon, je m'en vais. Salut Tostop, tu vas bien? Oh putain, il me casse les couilles. Bon allez. Putain, laissez-moi passer. Il va me tuer. Putain. Allez, à ton tour maintenant. Voilà. Ah putain. Ouais, tranquille, petite pause de midi. Pourquoi ça va pas bien, toi? Bon, moi c'est par là qu'il faut que j'aille. Il y a plein de trucs à prendre. Putain, ils sont plus faibles ici que de l'autre côté. Bon allez, reviens là, toi. Super.
This is despicable.
Ah putain, c'est pas de bol ça. Du coup, tu prends tes antidouleurs ou tu vas te faire opérer ou suffit d'attendre? Belle référence. Putain, mais je peux pas y aller par ici en fait.
It's locked, all right.
Ouais, non, on va se barrer. Bon, allez, on doit passer par là. Moi, je me suis fait les 2 ligaments croisés. Sauf que ça fait 10 ans et sur le coup, ça allait mieux un petit peu après. Du coup, je me suis dit, pas grave, maintenant, je m'en mords les doigts. Ah ouais, je me rappelais que c'était chaud par ici. Bah, j'étais sous tramadol aussi à un moment, mais c'est vrai que c'est assez fort, je trouve. Pourquoi je peux pas l'attaquer, lui? Ah si, c'est bon. Ouais. Y'a quoi là-dedans? Faut prendre le positif, au moins t'as un peu de repos. Moi je l'ai pris comme ça là, quand je me suis complètement explosé la cheville. Hop là, 4 mois à la maison à jouer à la play. Bon, à la fin je me faisais un peu chier honnêtement, mais... Sinon c'était plutôt cool. Merde, je l'ai raté. Putain. Putain, il me fait mal lui. Il est plutôt chiant. Putain, il m'éclate. Enfin. Et du coup, t'as arrêté combien de temps? Qui c'est qui me parle là? Il est tout seul? Ouais.
Last warning, sir.
Oh putain. Laisse-moi tranquille, toi, avec ta vieille arbalète de merde. Bon, apparemment, il n'y avait pas grand-chose à faire. Ah, pas mal. Oh putain, non, lui on va pas aller l'affronter. Ah bah ça va, encore une semaine.
It's locked.
Putain, mais comment je peux faire pour passer en fait?
Whitechapel. This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind Lady Ashbury's blackmail. First, let's find this Petrescu fellow. Bon, tu sais, après c'est à toi de choisir, hein, au final. Putain, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé là? you all right?
The bastard hit the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? If you know anything about her, I'd appreciate it.
Never heard of her. She's pretty, I'll keep an eye out.
Ah ok, t'es cuistot.
What happened? Did you really steal that man's medication?
C'est stylé
I
ça.
didn't do anything, it ain't me.
Effectivement c'est compliqué, hein, ouais.
All right.
Ok.
Perhaps the poor drunk just confused you with someone else.
Sod
Ouais,
off,
c'est encore
mister.
plus compliqué.
You ain't got no clue what's going on here. Bastard was a soldier in the war, so now he's got the right to shoot me.
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part of town. Perhaps you could help me.
I said sod off. Go find yourself another guide.
Ok, lui je vais le bouffer s'il me fait chier.
What happened? Did you...
Hey, I didn't do anything.
All right. Perhaps the poor drunk just...
Sod off. I said...
Goodbye, young man.
I'll not die in some piss-stinking alley reeking worse than a week-old
Et
lavvy.
lui alors, il veut quoi?
Shooting a boy in the middle of the street. Not the best thing to do, wouldn't you say?
What? You saw what happened. Who are you?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you promise me to set your gun aside.
No. Look, I'm not a violent man. I'm Benjamin Palmer, doctor. And no one can help me. Not even you.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy from the Pembroke Hospital? Have you heard anything?
It's funny, I've been searching for her too. I need some pills. But the woman is a phantom, if you ask me.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants.
What can you tell me about this place?
Nothing to say, really. This is where I used to live. And this is where I live now.
You don't have anywhere to go? No family that would welcome you?
Not since the death of my wife, Albert's mother. She was sick, you see. Long before the flu and all this shit.
You mean you used to have a better life?
Yeah, I had a wife, a home, and a job. I even used to have a name. Now I'm just Ben. Ben the Tramp.
Ben le clochard.
Perhaps you could focus for a moment and tell me your troubles.
I'm sick, broke, and my son just stole my pills. Everything's coming up roses.
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail, sir. Goodbye for now.
Ok, ici j'ai tout le monde. Ici il manque des gens.
How are you, boy?
I'm not your boy, all right? Now,
Do you need assistance?
please. Feeling tired these days.
There
Allez,
you
tiens.
go. Let's hope nobody steals it from you.
Very funny.
Goodbye, young man.
I'll not die in some piss-stinking alley reeking worse than a week-old lavvy.
When science fails you, this elixir will give you faith again.
Putain, y'a que des clochards ici ou quoi?
Its effectiveness has been proven by many.
Good evening, Benjamin. Can I help you?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Reed.
A gun, alcohol, and a...
Ok, c'est le même qu'avant.
To all your problems.
Qu'est-ce qu'elle parle tout
As long
seul
as you
là?
have the
Good
money.
evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
Ouais, moi je pense pas. Hein.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
I'd like to see what kind of...
Ah, je peux pas tout revendre à tout le monde en fait. Ok.
All the good boys joined the army and the scum turned criminals. It's a shame, really.
Bon, ok, son truc c'est là. Pas de soucis, bon rétablissement mon ami.
Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir.
À la prochaine. Ça fait plaisir de te voir, même si c'était pas sur Cyberpunk pour une
There
fois.
is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to. There's no one in.
Oh, je peux pas passer par là, merde.
It's locked, all right.
Ok, il faut que je trouve le moyen d'aller de l'autre côté.
Strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be from Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nethercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Effectiveness has been proven by many. Even the flu is no match for the swamp.
It's all a bloody joke to you, innit?
Ok, celle-là où j'étais au début. Je dois aller sur la gauche. Ok, un petit refuge ici. Ah, il y en a un ici. Putain. Ok, par là-bas il y avait l'autre fou là. Merde. Allez, on va aller fabriquer des remèdes ici. Putain, il a été chiant, lui.
I'd step back, sir.
Bon, allez. Putain, j'aime pas du tout quand il fait ça. Allez, viens là. Voilà. Putain, je trouve vraiment que 5 shillings à chaque fois, quoi. Ok, ça au moins c'est fait. Ok, c'est l'un ou l'autre. Très bien.
Look at it! Fish is bugging!
Putain, qu'est-ce qu'ils font là? Bon, pas facile, mais c'est fait. Maintenant, faut retourner tout droit. Oui, viens là, voilà.
I cannot enter.
Putain, je sais plus comment j'avais fait pour passer, moi. Ok, il faut faire le tour par la gauche. C'est ouvert ici?
I must insist, sir. Please let me see Nurse Crane.
I have no time for you, sir.
Bon, ok.
Welcome, sir. Please take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Moi, je reviens tout de suite. Ouais.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Pour le troll, j'aimerais bien répondre ça. Mais... on va répondre ça.
So she's trying to help her fellow immigrants. Why would that make her a villain?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Bah, elle a raison.
How is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
Well, you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Ok, d'escale.
Right then.
Je crois que j'ai besoin de ça aussi. Petit morceau de poignet commun, morceau de poignet commun. Ok. Bon,
Fancy buying some...
You never... Right then.
Si c'est pas ça qu'on va prendre, on va prendre lui. Voilà.
Fancy buy.
You never... Right then.
Donc il veut pas le reprendre, bon tant pis alors pour lui. Alors, c'est qui lui?
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
Ouais, bah c'est pas moi que tu vas cogner.
How did you become the lowest quality everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Most people don't become thugs when unemployed. This is a choice you made.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Et un jour, on viendra le tuer.
You never... Joe Peterson. He's the villain here, isn't he? But you seem to know each other.
I've known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice. He was a friend then. But these days, he's just another thug.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer. Good one, even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
Without making excuses for him, it's safe to say that despair can poison even the sanest mind.
We've all had some rough times, haven't we? And most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
And no one has ever stood up to this thug.
Nobody would be fool enough to stand against the Wet Boot Boy.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
Ok. Bah, il est passé où l'autre?
Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about me then? Okay then. Come on in. I'm Harry, by the way. Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
On rentre chez les gens, on vole tout, quoi. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'il va me raconter, lui?
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
Ah ouais, espèce de petit Célestin.
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough like... Well, you know.
Speaking of which, what can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I?
Normal, c'est le
I
quartier des
never
prolos.
wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
I'm sure your father did his best when he found this house. Times are tough for everyone, young man.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
Ah, peut-être qu'il avait pas le choix, hein.
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reed. It's the living I'm afraid of.
Your father and Mr. Lewis used to be good friends. What happened, Harry?
I was young then. I don't remember Mr. Lewis ever coming back again after my mother died. Or was it after my father started bullying him? I don't know.
Have you tried speaking to Mr. Lewis about it?
I don't go out often, but yes. And he scolded me and told me to leave him alone. I guess my father frightens him too much.
But you are not responsible for your father's actions.
Am I not? Dad always says that he joined that gang for my safety. So if I wasn't born, people wouldn't be worrying about Colossus Joe.
Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself.
Il a quoi, lui? Ah, de la fatigue. Oh, je pourrais le bouffer, quoi.
Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
Bah, faut croire un peu, Charmy, hein. C'est triste, mais c'est comme ça.
It's locked, all right.
Les Wet Machin Boy, là. C'est lui leur chef? Ouais, lui, on le bouffera quand il ira mieux.
You again?
Why do you keep on working for the gang, Joe? You know it doesn't suit you.
It's true, I hate this job. And I know I made some bad choices, but I'm a wet boot boy now. People won't forget it.
You could leave tomorrow. Start another life in another town.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. We are poor. My son's weak. And there's no way he'll endure another disappointment.
Harry doesn't seem happy living in Whitechapel. Why did you make him come here?
I've always put my son's interests above everything else. Whatever he may think. Our house is small but affordable. The walls are thin, but the door is solid.
You really love your son, don't you, Mr. Peterson?
He's my pride and joy. Even if he hates me for the choices I make and pushes me buttons more than he should.
Do you have any regrets?
Only one. Not to have my beloved wife by my side. She died when Harry was little. My sweet Jane. She gave the boy confidence.
Since the criminal nature of your job means you could be arrested, are you not afraid of what would happen to your boy if you were?
No one will ever take my son away from me. If that ever occurred, I'd hunt the bastard down and rip off his head with my bare hands.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Take a look. Don't be afraid. Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't
Good evening, Harry. May I come in?
Sure. Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
So,
I'm not bothered.
Ok.
would it ease tensions with your father if he got an honest job? Because he tried, you know.
Can't say. I'd be glad if he dropped his thuggish activities, but I'm not sure it would be enough.
Why is that?
Sometimes I suspect it's me, Dr. Reed. Or it's this life. It's like I can't find my place.
Goodbye, young man.
Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
Bon, ok, il est passé où? Ah, il est de nouveau là.
You again? What do you want this time?
Goodbye, Mr.
Ah, je sais pas qui c'est elle.
Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling, but I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor, Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick, though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Ouais, c'est une prostituée.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed, or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Ok.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
I always
On va être
thought
gentil,
I was
comme
the
d'hab.
master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly. But it is not your concern, Doctor.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
Bon, on va aller retrouver notre ami qui est là. C'est un peu dommage qu'il soit comme ça, là, à faire des mouvements comme un fou. Qu'il n'y ait pas de bruit derrière.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
Ouais, on va lui dire c'est honteux, un crime, je ne dirais pas. Non, c'est pas logique, les gens ont le droit de savoir. C'est honteux, ouais.
It's a disgrace. People are left to die alone. No one is properly informed of the risks.
These are bad times indeed. So much for the glorious British Empire.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Why are the news...
There's a war going on.
It's a disgrace.
These are bad times indeed.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I must confess, some of my rational views have been shaken by recent events.
I'll remember to stay away from the district's roughest streets then.
Christina Popper claims she sells her body because she can't find any other work. Do you believe her?
Of course I do. Her story is exactly what I want my readers to understand. We live in an intolerant and divided nation.
Do you think things will ever change, Mr. Darby?
I believe the situation can only improve. And now that women can vote,
I'm convinced things will change.
Ça me va.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
On va lui dire la vérité, hein.
I'm afraid one of the nurses from the Pembroke Hospital may be involved with unsavory activities.
Ah, could it be Dorothy Crane?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He has no relatives at all?
No. Except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Ok, ça c'est bon.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Ouais, toi je vais te bouffer.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition. What do you mean? Quite a...
you?
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Ouais, il y en a un devant toi, hein.
Goodbye. Good evening, Miss.
It's fun.
What? Quite a...
you?
Well, what do you mean?
The beast.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light.
Ouais.
This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
Ouais, on verra bien.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupting city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Ok, salut mon ami.
I have heard enough for tonight.
Bon allez, moi je vais m'arrêter là. Je vous souhaite une bonne journée à vous, puis je vous dis à la prochaine.